Here are some amazing privacy plant possibilities for you to consider for your yard. First, we have to address the fact that you could live anywhere in the world. Best practices are different in every part of the world, and even every backyard can be a little bit different. So before you use any plant in your yard, you need to do a little bit of research to make sure you're putting the right plant in the right place. I'd be a bad landscape designer if I just launched into plant recommendations without mentioning that. I also have some resources, perfect plant checklist, free mini course about how to choose the perfect plant. Check those out in the description below. Let's start talking about some incredible privacy plant possibilities. One of my favorite solutions for tall, narrow, evergreen privacy is to grow an evergreen vine up a trellis on or near a fence. Consider Evergreen Clematis an absolutely stunning vine with pink or white flowers, and it has these very graceful branches and leaves. Akebia is a unique, leafy evergreen vine that produces edible fruits. Star Jasmine is an evergreen vine that is so elegant, very deep, dark green foliage, and it has the sweetest smelling flowers. It has a very strong, heavy, vanilla-like fragrance that you can smell from pretty far away. It's incredible. If you have room for an evergreen tree, consider Evergreen Magnolia. It has these giant, gorgeous white flowers, and it has year-round glossy leaves. There are different cultivars that grow to different sizes, so this is something that you would grow up and over your fence. If you're looking for tall, narrow conifer options, of course, arborvitae is very popular. It's very popular for a reason. It does its job well. Just know that it's not your only option. There are various varieties to choose from arborvitae, so here's a list here. Be sure to look into the different growth rates and different mature sizes to make sure you're selecting the right one for you. Junipers are another tall, narrow conifer option. They tend to have more of a bluish look to the foliage than arborvitae. Of course, this varies from variety to variety, and still be sure to look up the mature size. And the thing about arborvitae juniper is that they aren't necessarily as long-lasting as some other privacy solutions, and I talk about other ways to design privacy into your yard besides just having tall and narrow trees in my other video, which I'll link in the top right corner as well as in the description below. I have a whole playlist about landscape design for privacy, so check out some of those other videos if you need help with that. I'm personally a big fan of Hinoki cypress. It's not as narrow as some of the previously mentioned conifer options, but it is pretty easy to sculpt, or you can prune a few branches off if you want to grow it close to a fence. It's like a sculpture. It's absolutely stunning. Cryptomeria are one of my favorite conifers because they have the most interesting foliage, some of which can change color seasonally depending on the cultivar. There are many cultivars and species and options. There's a tall, narrower looking cultivar that you may look into. It's called Black Dragon. Japanese holly is a tall, narrow evergreen with very small, round leaves. Look into sky pencil or similar cultivars. Now let's get a little bit more controversial and talk about one of my very favorite privacy, fast-growing, tall, narrow privacy solutions. Bamboo. It's amazing. It grows really tall, really skinny, even in the first growing season. It's super tough. It's evergreen. It sounds amazing when it blows in the wind and the leaves rustle. I love bamboo so much, but I also know that many folks say never to plant bamboo because it can grow aggressively. While bamboo needs to be respected, it is not all bad, and some consider there to be two general kinds of bamboo, running bamboo and clumping bamboo. And from there, every different kind of bamboo can have a different personality. Some are going to be more aggressive than others. Clumping bamboo, it's in the name, it forms a clump, and this clump is going to grow bigger every year over time, so it can still outgrow its space, but it's definitely a little bit less assertive, less intimidating than running bamboo, which wants to spread out. Big plastic bamboo barriers are a bit of a pain to put in, but some find them to be a great solution. I'm also a huge fan of bamboo in containers for incredible tall, narrow, movable privacy. I have clumping bamboo growing in big nursery pots with a rim, like an edge on them. It makes it easy to grab onto them, put them under a hand truck, move them around wherever privacy is needed most. Also, if you have a raised bed, a concrete, stone raised bed, you have a driveway, you have a sidewalk edge, that can act as a natural barrier for bamboo as well. There are pros and cons to this. Plant at your own risk. An unexpected tall, narrow privacy solution, ornamental grasses. Most don't consider this to be a privacy solution, but there are species of grasses that can grow to be very tall very quickly. Some are even evergreen and provide year-round privacy. Cordaderia, or pampas grass, grows to be quite large. It can stay green year-round, but note that it can be invasive in some places, including where I live, unfortunately. Miscanthus is another great grass genus with a ton of species and cultivars. And it is an herbaceous grass, so that means it dies back, it goes dormant in the winter, but even grasses like this can be left untrimmed for some additional privacy. Then you can trim them back in the spring, where it will then fill in again quickly. Now let's talk about some unique evergreen shrub possibilities. You'll have to do a little bit of extra research on these. These might not be as tall and narrow, but I know a lot of people who plant these, grow these, and have a lot of success using them for evergreen privacy in their yard. If you want an edible option, consider bay laurel. Some people will prune it and shape it, and if you want to let it take on lower maintenance, more natural form, expect to shape it a little bit so it has a trunk and it'll kind of grow up and over your head, up and over the fence, and create more of like a small tree, or eventually large tree form up and over your head. Cyanothis is a favorite of mine. Grows a little bit wider. There's tons of different cultivar options. You know, they come in blue, a bluish color flower, a whitish color flower. It's a beautiful hedgerow plant that supports native pollinators, native wildlife in my area. It might do the same in yours. Strawberry trees are super unique, beautiful, evergreen, glossy evergreen leaves. They come in with a few different cultivars that grow to different mature sizes. Think more like a small tree more than a shrub, especially over time. Though I do know folks who prune it to have more of a hedge-like look to it. Although the fruits are edible, they don't taste like strawberries, I'm sorry to say. They have more of an applesauce-like flavor and consistency, but forage at your own risk. Moving into shade, if you want something really interesting, consider Fatsia or Japanese Aurelia. It gives this very tropical effect, although it's a pretty hardy plant. A Cuba is a sturdy, very sturdy, considered sometimes a little bit old-fashioned just because it's been around for a while, but I mean, tried and true. It's this dense growing evergreen shade shrub that comes in some greenish colors as well as this yellow. While it's a bit slower growing, camellias are a popular evergreen option that are sometimes overlooked as privacy shrubs. Different cultivars have different sun requirements, some like a little bit more shade, some like a little bit more sun. Keep that in mind. Different bloom colors, different mature sizes. You have tons of options. Note that you have many privacy plant options besides things that are evergreen. Deciduous plants can provide quite a bit of privacy as well, even in the winter. Considering deciduous plants as well just opens up your plant possibilities significantly. If you're looking for fast privacy solutions, like you feel like you're on stage when you head out into your yard, you need tall, narrow privacy and quickly, I have a previous video where I go through a ton of different options and examples of things, plants and in addition to plants, that you can incorporate into your yard for almost instant privacy. I also have a video about landscape design strategy for privacy so that you can lay your yard out in a way where you're basically maximizing the privacy that you have with the elements you would otherwise include in your landscape design. A little bit of strategy can go a long way so that you don't end up with this yard that's kind of boxed in, like you have a row of trees all the way around your fence or something like that. Of course, the principle right plant, right place still applies to every plant that you put in your yard, even native plants. To make sure you're putting the right plant in the right place, you just have to do a little bit of research, and it's pretty fun if you know what you need to look for and where to go to find the information. I created a free mini course and the perfect plant checklist to help you choose the perfect plant for your yard. Check that out in the description below this video. It's free. It's about an hour long total. To access the course, you just have to create a username, a password, so that it keeps track of your progress and you can log in and watch it at any point. I'll link to these videos in the description below, my entire privacy landscape design playlist below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that these plants provide you with some ideas and inspiration. Happy gardening.